Okay, real talk for a sec. When you click a link, like really click a link, do you ever think about what's happening?
I mean, besides hoping a page loads before you lose interest, yeah.
Right. But behind that loading bar, there's a whole symphony of tech working its magic.
A whole lot going on for sure.
And that's what we're going to unpack today, folks. It's all about Vercel, and we're using their blog post, what is again? Life of a Vercel request. Something like that.
Life of a Vercel request. What happens when a user presses enter?
That's the one. Now, Vercel, they're all about speed and security, which, let's be honest, who doesn't love a fast, safe website, right?
It's kind of the big bare minimum these days, right?
For real, but where does this whole journey even begin? When I click, where's that click going, you know?
Well, think about it. We've got people clicking links from all over the world, right?
Right, everywhere.
So Vercel, they've got this network of servers, they call them points of presence or POPs, scattered all over the globe.
So no matter where you are, your click's finding the closest server.
Exactly. It's all about getting that request to the nearest on-ramp, so to speak, for the fastest possible response.
Makes sense. But then what? It can't just be a free-for-all, right? Anyone can just waltz in.
Oh, absolutely not. That's where the Vercel firewall comes in. It's like airport-level security, but for your website.
So it's checking for viruses, malware, those kinds of things.
All of that and more. First off, it's scanning for those big, obvious attacks, like a DDoS attack.
Yeah, I've heard of those, where someone tries to flood the website with traffic to crash it.
Yeah, it's basically digital traffic jam, but way more malicious, right?
Definitely not good. But what about those sneakier, under-the-radar attacks?
Vercel's got you covered. In what they call the edge region, the firewall gets more specific, starts looking for things like HTTP floods.
An HTTP flood, what's that?
Imagine someone bombarding the server with a ridiculous amount of requests, way more than it can handle.
So it's overloaded, like a bouncer at a club. But instead of IDs, it's checking network traffic.
That's a great analogy.
Okay, I'm feeling a little safer already knowing all this is going on behind the scenes. But what if you're like an online store owner or something,
Yeah.
and you've got specific worries like bots scraping your product prices, or maybe someone trying to hack your shopping cart? What then?
Totally valid concern, and Vercel's got an answer for that too. It's called the Web Application Firewall, WF for short.
Wary F. Okay, so that's like more personalized security.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can set up specific rules for your site, like blocking certain IP addresses known for trouble, or limiting how many requests can come in per second.
Wow, so it's like your own private security force, but for your website. That's impressive.
Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of control over who and what gets through.
That's peace of mind right there.
Right.
But okay, let's say we've passed the security checks, everything's good. How does Vercel make sure the request ends up in the right spot on the website? Like, how does it know where to go?
Imagine a train station, tons of tracks going every which way.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Redirects and rewrites are like preset paths, sending those requests to their destination quickly and efficiently.
Okay, so straightforward requests, those have their own little express lanes.
You got it. But for those more complex situations, there's this thing called edge middleware.
Middleware, huh? That
Oh.
sounds kind of
It's
complicated.
not as scary as it sounds. Think of it like a train conductor, making decisions on the fly based on the situation at hand.
So, like, it can check if a user is logged in,
Yeah.
or maybe route traffic, depending on where the user is located.
Exactly. Edge middleware is all about dynamic decision-making, ensuring everything is processed smoothly and correctly, no matter how complex the situation.
That is seriously impressive. So it's like a super smart traffic cop, keeping everything flowing smoothly.
Exactly. And speaking of smooth, let's talk about speed for a minute.
Oh, yeah. That's Vercel's bread and butter, right? Making websites lightning fast.
You know it. And a big part of that speed comes from something called edge cache.
I've heard the term caching before, but I'm not really sure how it applies to websites.
Okay, imagine your favorite coffee shop. Right. You order the same thing every day.
Iced latte, oat milk, extra shot. Got it.
Wouldn't it be awesome if the barista already had it ready for you the second you walked in?
Oh, that would be amazing. Skip the line entirely.
That's kind of what edge cache does for websites.
Yeah.
It stores frequently accessed stuff, things like images, code, even entire web pages, on servers close to the user.
So the next time I visit that site, it loads super fast because it's already nearby.
Boom. Exactly. And this is especially important for mobile users.
Oh, right. Slower connections, data usage, all that.
All those factors. Edge cache makes a huge difference there, makes the web feel as snappy as a native app.
That's brilliant. But I gotta ask, are there any downsides to caching? Is it always a good thing?
Welcome back to our deep dive into Vercel requests.
My mind is officially blown. I never realized how much was happening behind the scenes just to load a simple web page.
Right. And we're not even done yet. We've talked security, we've talked speed, routing, all that.
So much to unpack.
But now we're getting into something Vercel calls framework-defined infrastructure.
Okay, now you're just using big words to scare me. What in the world does that even mean?
Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Basically, Vercel is super smart. It can actually analyze your website's code and then just automatically set up the best infrastructure to support it.
So it's like reading my code and saying, okay, I know exactly what you need to make this website run perfectly.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Imagine you're building a website using Next.js.
Next.js, that's a JavaScript framework.
Exactly, it's a popular one. So you deploy your code to Vercel, and it just automatically knows how to set up everything based on that Next.js structure.
Everything like what?
Serverless functions, edge caching, routing, you name it.
Hold on, back up a sec. Serverless functions, what are those?
Think of them like little snippets of code ready to run whenever they're needed for specific tasks.
Okay, so like processing payments or sending emails.
Exactly. And the serverless part means you don't have to worry about managing any actual servers. Vercel handles all of that behind the scenes.
So like a team of invisible helpers making sure everything runs smoothly.
I like that analogy. And all this, it's not just for the developer's benefit, right?
Right. Got to think about the people actually using these websites.
Exactly. Remember all that stuff we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Edge caching, the global server network, the tight security.
Yeah, it's all coming together now.
It all comes together to create this super fast, reliable, and secure user experience. Imagine browsing a website that loads instantly, even on a bad connection, and feels as responsive as an app on your phone.
That's the dream. But what about when websites start to grow, get more traffic? Can Vercel handle that kind of pressure?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest advantages here. Vercel's designed to scale automatically, meaning your website can handle those sudden spikes in traffic without crashing or slowing down.
So no matter how many people are hitting my website, Vercel's got my back.
You got it. It takes so much pressure off developers, right?
For real. But there's more, isn't there? I read something about making sure a website behaves the same, whether you're working on it or it's live on the internet.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Vercel makes sure that what you see on your local machine is exactly what users are seeing out in the world.
So no more but it works on my computer excuses.
Exactly. Eliminates those headaches entirely.
This is incredible. I mean, they've really thought of everything.
They really have. It's not just hosting websites. It's this whole ecosystem empowering developers to build incredible web experiences, which ultimately benefits everyone using the web.
Absolutely. Speaking of benefits, I know Vercel is big on open source. Can you explain what that means and why it matters?
Sure. Open source basically means the code is publicly available. Anyone can access it, modify it, even contribute to it.
So it's like a global team of developers all working together.
You got it. And Vercel's core technologies, like Next.js, are all open source. This fosters collaboration, innovation. You've got developers all over the world improving these tools, making them better.
That's really cool. So it's not just about using open source tools, it's about giving back to the community too.
100%. Vercel, they sponsor projects, organize events, and really encourage their employees to be active in the open source world. They know a strong open source ecosystem benefits everyone.
This is going way beyond just a hosting platform. They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the web. So where do we go from here? What's on the horizon for Vercel?
Welcome back. Ready for the final stretch of our Vercel deep dive. Let's do it. We've covered a lot of ground, from their global network to their security measures.
Yeah, and don't forget edge cache. That's like speed magic right there. Plus their commitment to open source. That's huge.
It is. And they don't just use it. They actively contribute to the community.
Supporting projects, organizing events, getting their employees involved.
Exactly. They understand that a strong open source ecosystem benefits everybody.
It shows they're not just taking, they're giving back, which I respect a lot. But I gotta ask, what's next? What's Vercel got cooking up for the future?
Well, one word. AI.
Ooh, okay. Everyone's talking about AI these days. How's Vercel using it to, like, level up websites?
Well, they're exploring AI-powered code completion.
Code completion? Like what? It finishes my sentences for me.
Kind of.
I
Imagine
sa-
you're coding, right? And your coding buddy, super smart, whispers the next line of code right in your ear, perfect every time.
That's kind of freaky, but also really cool.
Right. These tools are like that. They analyze your code, figure out what you're trying to do, and bam, suggest snippets, even complete entire lines.
So it's like having a superpowered assistant helping me code faster and better.
Exactly. More efficient, fewer errors. It frees up developers to focus on the more creative, challenging stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was going to ask, are we talking like a robots replacing developers entirely?
Not at all. AI, at least right now, it's a tool, a powerful tool, to help developers, not replace them.
Okay, good, because that was getting a little Skynet-y for me. But how does Vercel make sure these AI tools are actually helpful, not just creating more problems?
Well, they're very developer-focused. They're always getting feedback, making sure these tools are intuitive, helpful, genuinely improving the process,
So a collaboration, not a takeover. That's good.
for sure. And as AI keeps evolving, Vercel is going to be right there, figuring out how to use it to make the web even smarter, more intuitive.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. I knew websites were complex, but I never realized how much goes into making them smooth, fast, and secure.
It's a lot, right? And the crazy thing is, most people have no idea. They just click and bam, there's the website.
That's the beauty of it. All this intricate technology working its magic to make our online lives easier.
Exactly. So next time you're browsing, take a second to appreciate all the brilliant minds making it happen.
And if that website loads super fast, feels amazing, there's a good chance Vercel is behind it.
You got it.
Well, folks, that's our deep dive into the world of Vercel requests. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.